Every strong nation begins with one strong family. Every lasting love starts with a blueprint. I'm Praise for Wowe. I help you design a family strategy that makes love easy, parenting joyful, and your home unshakable.
Hello, how are you? Welcome to another family strategy. Well, it's gradually getting to the end of one full month of daily family strategy. Now, from next month, I will try and pace myself some more. I'll try and see if I can do it daily, but that's unlikely. But I'll try my best because I believe that your family deserves to work. I do not believe that any family should go through dysfunctionality because when two people are willing to make things work, family can indeed work. So, on that note, I want to welcome you to Family Strategy with the best family strategies you can ever walk with. My name remains Praise Forward, and I'm super, super excited to come your way again. Don't forget, over the course of this entire session, I have taught you the three pillars of strategy. That strategy, the first pillar is bottom line or expected result. What result do we want? What kind of family do we want to build? Next pillar is operating, is the not operating environment. That's the third one. It's the internal capacity. Internal capacity talks about if we know the result we want, what is our capacity, our ability to produce this outcome. Now, that is where you know the gaps that exist, you know the challenges you're having, you know what you have not paid attention to, and then you fix it up. For some of us, it's capacity building. That's why we go through training, we go through strategy. That's why many of us need to get help across board. And number three is our operating environment. That it's not just enough to know the end game, it's not just enough to examine and develop your internal capacity, native intelligence, which is operating environment. Because if you speak to consultants and strategies, they will tell you that if you place strategy beside culture, they will tell you culture, we eat strategy for breakfast because there is no point implementing an intervention that is not culturally intelligent and sound. And that's the mistake we make oftentimes when, for example, they bring a solution from the West and take it to Africa, and then it never works in Africa. Because if you don't do what we call contextualization, you'd realize that the theory that produced that intervention may not be relevant to the culture in Africa. And so we need to understand that if you understand those three pillars, then you can build anything at all and you can produce an incredible result. So I want to welcome you once again. I want to appreciate all of you who have made a time to get the family combo. All right. Thank you very much. And thank you for your testimonials. I am super proud of you. I have taken this entire month to stay back and recalibrate and rest because all through this year, I've spent so much time on the road, traveling and doing all sorts. This 1 month has helped me reflect, spend time resting, not doing so much. It's helped me reflect, on how our life has been, on the new challenges we're having, on the new visitors of power, on the new generation coming up, and what they are embracing. My greatest fear for the new generation is debt. The fact that the capacity to critically analyze what they're hearing, and embrace what can actually build something that is deeper, has become very problematic. It's the days of AI, and AI is so good. I use AI very well, but you see, AI works best if people can think, right? And so, having said all of this, I want to appreciate everyone who has not missed any of my sessions. Well, from next week, I'm going to be doing stuff on TikTok, right? So if you're on TikTok, kindly follow me on I Am Praise for on TikTok. I'm going to be doing quite a number of stuff, in there, a whole lot of revolutionary stuff because we have to reach the next generation. And so today on Family Strategy, I have titled this Your Family Can Be the Blueprint for a New Generation. If there's anything the world is crying out for, is a new order of family that can produce a new society. The society is troubled right now. Have you seen what is going on? Have you listened to what's going on social media? When we were growing up, you couldn't, if you were having sex, You had it secretly. You couldn't come out openly to brag about how you were having sex, to brag about the sex styles, to brag about many of the things people brag about right now. The world has really changed, right? And so it felt like many of us have now become old, as if we slept and woke up and then everything just changed. You see the things that people flaunt, the things that applaud, the things they are excited about, and you wonder what exactly is this. So it then means we need to rebuild the family. I mean, just yesterday in Minnesota, a young man, shot at kids at school, right, during a service in a Catholic church, and then killed like two children. My heart goes out to parents in Minnesota and everyone who witnessed that, right? And that's what the world has become. What is the 23-year-old doing with a rifle? And even if you have a rifle, shouldn't it be for protection and self-preservation? Why would you go and shoot at innocent children? You ask yourself, what kind of family did he emerge from? Because if we don't install an effective family system, we are all going to suffer the consequence, because it will target this mental health problem, depression, or what have you. But there is no form of mental health problem that gives someone the awareness to go buy a gun, gives them the awareness to write, all kinds of stuff against leadership, and then think about, I hate Christians, so I'm going to go kill children. We need to begin to call a spade and come to that reality where we're no longer politically correct. We call it what it is, so that we can now go back to what built a better world way back, and now begin to raise our children intelligently, intentionally, and appropriately. Okay, so I want you to know that if we have to rebuild our world and make our world better, we have to understand the critical role that the family has got to play. This month, our great mentor, James Dobson, died and went to be with the Lord. After standing for family in America for so many years, James Dobson, focused on the family. And when you see this kind of people go, you're asking yourself, who is stepping in to take their place? Who is going to stand for family in America right now without being politically correct? We need to get back to who we are. We need to begin to teach parents how to raise intention, and that's one of the things I'm starting to do in America. That we have to help parents understand that this is how to raise children. This is how to build a family, that you can build a family in a systematic manner. But you see, not just that your family can become a blueprint for a new generation. I always love to refer to the dysfunctional family in the Bible of Jacob. Jacob was he ticked all the boxes of a dysfunctional family. But then that's the nation, that's the family that became the nation called Israel. And what God was demonstrating in there is that you do not rule out a family, do not undermine the power do not undermine the power God has placed in your family. That no matter how bad things are, no matter how tough and toxic and difficult things are, God can still bring about the goodness from your family, and He can use you to bless the entire world. Right? There's no family that is perfect. However, if we're intentional, we can stand and build the future better. And so, if you are joining this live broadcast today, you have to make a commitment that at the end of this session, you're going to go back to your family and going to fix what is broken, and you're going to start building, because it takes two to build. When people say that women are homemakers, I say to them that there is no woman that can build a home that a difficult man has vowed to wreck. It's got to be two people who want to build, who can see the end game, and who say want to build towards that end. It was Dr. Miles Monroe who said that discipline is a decision that is dictated by a predetermined destiny. I learned this definition about 20 years ago. Discipline is a decision that is dictated by a predetermined destiny, which means if you can see the end, it governs how you live the now. And so if we're intentional, then we can teach other families how these things work. You see, it's going to be like little drops in the ocean. Very soon it becomes the ocean, because if you do your part, you play your part, I play my part, our children start to intermarry, they will carry the same values to their own family, and then good will win and evil will lose at the end of the day. And so tonight, what do you need to do? And what are the things you need to put in place? The first thing I'm going to say to you is that you need to build systems that can last for a minimum of 100 years. I'm sure someone is wondering, praise, why would I determine the future that I'm not going to be part of? See, UAE a couple of years ago, I think precisely 2017, said that they will build a Mars, the first estate on planet Mars by the year 2100. And immediately they appointed the minister of the future, right? And so it's been said that your future has no right to take you by surprise. The easiest way to predict the future is to create it. So Abraham, God told him, look, as far as your eyes can see, to you will I give, and to thy seed after you. And what happened afterwards? Abraham saw the future and he prophesied the future. He didn't get to that future, but he heralded it. He created the blueprint for that future. The same thing you will see countries with 400-year plan, for 500-year plan. You can see strategists, futurists, determining the future they're not even going to be a part of. And so you cannot become very self-centered because you are not going to live in that future and just sit back and not create a future. We must not stop dreaming. I know we're very distracted. A whole lot of things are calling for our attention, bills and what have you, and is seeking to stop us from seeing the future. But we must create the future. So you want to build systems that last for 100 years. And so you want to ask yourself, today is this year is 2025. You ask yourself, what will happen in the year 21, 25 or something like that, right? You want to ask yourself, that in the year 2100, 2125, what is going to happen, right? Where will my descendants be? Would you have created a kind of descendants that they now do National Day? When they remember your birthday, it's become a national day wherein they gather from whatever part of the world they are in, and they come together to celebrate and to rejoice about your birth, because that is the ancestors' day. Is that what you're planning? And if that's what you're planning, you need to lay the blueprint and you need to script it so that they can read it and they can carry it out. So you want to build system that lasts for 100 years. Never forget that the most important nation on earth is your family, because your family is the production factory of the society, right? So you want to build a system that lasts for 100 years. Now that system is actually the next thing, which is the governance system. The most critical part that you need to build is the governance system. So number 2 is you build the governance system, the governance framework of the next 100 years. And what is the governance system? The governance system talks about your ancestral vision. What is the family vision, generational vision of this family? There is a process to setting that up. You can get into my DM and book a session, and I'll teach you how to go about that, right? And well, it's not free, but we can find a way to make it affordable for you. Or if you get a family combo, it's part of what you have in there. There's a 5-step process you can use to create that. Now, when you create a family governance system, you have your family vision, you have the values you want your ancestry to uphold. Number 3, you have the DNA creed of your family, which means you turn your values into a creed. Then you have the legends of that family to say, what believable story do you want your children, your ancestry, to repeat consistently, that it becomes the true and the reality of what you are. In fact, that story is documented, and you have what is called a family Bible that your descendants can read. We do not know that every of the things you've done is actually a Bible. Many of us read the Bible. You don't know the Bible is a story about the people. That you can have a family Bible, which is your own story, unique to you, that your children can actually read and then understand why you did what you did. The motivation for some of the things you do is crazy, but this is doable, right? And then when you have your story, there's also a framework, 7-step process of creating your family legend. You see, the Jews have their legend, the Chinese have their legend, the Emiratis have their legend. Everyone that has stood the test of time, every empire has got their legend. What is your own legend? Then you now create your family culture, and then you create your family constitution. Culture starts with our routine and ritual. What are the activities we will do as a family annually, biannually, monthly, quarterly, weekly, daily, right? You need to put all these things in perspective and ensure that you model them and get your children to join you to them. Explain why you do what you do so that it becomes a family tradition. Now, when you hear the word tradition, I know many of us don't like it, but you see, tradition, it's what separates us from other people, right? So you create family ritual to say annually, maybe on the day you got married to your wife or your birthday, whichever one it is, you are going to do Founders Day. On Founders Day, we'll retrace our vision. We will talk about what we've achieved, where we're going, why our family is created, the purpose for this family, the mission, and everything, right? And so then you look at twice a year, what are the things you have to do? Quarterly, what do you have to do? Are you going to do a retreat? Maybe twice a year, you do family retreat, a review, and then the vision casting for the year. And then quarterly, maybe what you're going to do is a visit, or monthly, you're going to do book review, or you're going to do character study or something like that. And then you come in once a month, and then you're seeing a movie together, right? So what are we going to do weekly? Maybe weekly you're going to work out twice, or we're going to take a power work or family network, family story. And then what do you do daily? Maybe family altar, right? You need to ensure those things are explained. It's almost like a law. It's almost like a taboo not to be a part of them. Then you want to pass down wisdom and wealth. I talked about your family Bible. You need to document, especially if you're an African and you're listening to me. You just got married. You're already writing your Bible. That's the genesis of your ancestry. What are you writing in there? Because we are a people who, just live life the way it comes. We do not document. And so when you don't document, every generation will have to start their lives afresh. You need to understand the power of documentation. And then you can create a wisdom circle wherein you teach your children something new. When I was growing up in Africa, we had those Tales by Moonlight, where Africans had two avatars, Tetatis and his wife. The tortoise, from where I came from, they call him Ijapa, and then he has his wife called Yanibo. All right. And every moral was built around those characters to say covetousness, the value of the contentment, the value of honesty, integrity. They used those two to teach us those stories. They would infuse songs and games into it. And we used to enjoy listening to those stories. In fact, there were things we look out for every evening. We can create a hybrid of that, and it can be done virtually, right? So pass your wisdom and tell your story boldly. See, there is no tribe or group or race that is superior to another. We might have better sophistication when it comes to technological advancement, but our story is our authenticity. There is no way you can eat another tribe's food and feel it's better than your own, right? No matter how bad your food is, it tastes to you, there is the significance of that food. There is your dressing, there's your attire, there's a way, there's a culture of your wedding ceremony, of your party. For example, if you are an African or you are a Nigerian, our parties are very loud. We love to dance, we love to shake our waist, we love to do all those things. Now imagine they put you in a party that is not an African party. Something feels very off. And it doesn't mean it's off, it doesn't mean they are wrong. They are having the best of time of their life, but you feel something is wrong. Why? Because you are not them. And so you need to understand that our stories must be told boldly. If you're an African, you will look at yourself and feel inferior when you see other cultures step into the room. But no, there is something you have that is authentic to you. Africa's got a concept called Ubuntu. I am because you are. There is no me without you. It's collaboration. It's a concept of, humanity. No man is man except through other people. It belongs to us. We have a culture of hospitality. We have a culture of love. We take care of other people. That's who we are as Africans. The moment we lose sight of that, everything goes bad, because I think Africa is what the world is waiting to discover. And we have a lot to give to the world when it comes to family, when it comes to empathy, when it comes to collaboration, when it comes to providing support, when it comes to rallying around ourselves to do good. We have a whole lot to offer our world. I dare say to you tonight that your family carries the seed for tomorrow, that your family has got all it takes to build a future that will stand the test of time, a future that God is going to be proud of, that you have the blueprint that generations unborn can follow, because sound wisdom, sound doctrine is becoming alien in our world right now. But God needs you here so that you can preserve sound thinking, and your family can preserve what it means to raise a proper family, so that everyone can look up to you and they can say, oh, wow, through you, all the families of the heart will be blessed. I want to say thank you very much for joining me tonight. If you don't have family combo, place your order now. right? Because this is a challenge, a charge to all of us that we can all do better. And then if you want to work with me in building an intelligent family, you can as well, do the scan code or send me a mail or, use my Calendly to schedule a session. If you are a pastor and you are listening to this, we can help you set up an effective family life ministry in North America. We have a training that starts in the month of September. You want to join that training, or you want to do an individual one, a bespoke one for your church. Because see, if you are the church, then you have access to families, and those families under your care, they don't deserve to go through divorce or go through crisis when you're there. You need to understand that you can't handle them all alone by yourself, because they'll wear you out. A lot of pastors have lost their families in trying to take care of other people's family. You can set up a system and a structure that doesn't just take care of the people in your church, but takes care of the people around you, especially the county where your church is located. You can also send us a bill. We'll send you details. We have to save this dying world. We have to preserve this world. And we have to raise the standard, raise the banner, and show that families still work. And the most important nation on earth remains the family, because your family is the production factory of society. Thank you very much for joining me. I super celebrate you. And I want you to know that your life is going to work, your family is going to work, and you're going to be happy. I'll see you tomorrow for a final session. I celebrate and I honor you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. I am Praise for Warware, the world's leading family system strategist. And I don't just fix homes or families, I build legacies. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.